But let me let this man speak, because what's happening is the curses that were upon us are falling upon Esau, Edom, because now what's happening is that they are destroying white families the same way that they did to Jacob, with the whole marrying the woman, the so-called black woman married the system going back to the late 60s, up all the way up until now. And look what it's done. All right. I was that generation, that among that first generation of where, there was a whole bunch of black single moms in the 70s, most of my friends that I grew up with, my whole group of friends, only a few of them fathers were still in their homes. Most didn't have a father, or they had stepfathers. All right. Or their mother's boyfriend, who typically they were together. And now I get it. Like one of my friends, he had a stepfather who wasn't married to his mother till they were grown. They were together for the most of the part since, I met my friend, he was 9 years old, and we were friends for our whole life after that, And his stepfather actually didn't marry his mother until he was already an adult, a grown, when they got married. Why? Because his mother was getting all those benefits.
You can't build a family in a culture that profits from destroying it. And somehow deep down, every man already knows that. He feels it in the silence after a court hearing.
Yep. And Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecute thee. Now Esau's feeling it. See, because this was directed at Jake, but now it's happening to Edomites across the board. Across the board. And they're getting a taste of what it's like to be Jake. The same system that while our families were being destroyed and their families were profiting and still together, now their families are falling apart. Their men are getting drugged through the dirt. Their children are being ripped from them, and their homes are being broken. And their women are being, jumping from man to man, or they're forced to live in an apartment while, she moves someone else into his home, and, that whole that kind of madness.
He feels it in the empty apartment with the half-built crib. He feels it when he looks at pictures of his child he didn't get to take. There's this haunting awareness now that what used to be sacred has been converted into currency. Marriage, parenthood, family, these aren't sanctuaries anymore. They're markets.
They're markets, which the little, the hook-nosed little hats, they salivate, because the truth of the matter is you live in a system where weddings has been a huge profiting market, and I sit back and almost laugh at people have these big grand weddings, and then, only to get divorced shortly thereafter. The average marriage in America doesn't make it, for the children to even make it to their teenage years. They're usually done, divorced by the time the children before they even become what you call teenagers. That's just the fact of the matter. The system is failing. All right. Because why? Because of these unrighteous decrees and all the overall wickedness that's done here. This is Proverbs 28:8. It says, he that by usury and unjust gain increaseth his substance, he should gather it for him that will pity the poor. So, through unjust gains and usury, which you're forbidden to use, which is a very cruel thing to use. That's why it's going to be done unto them. All right. And all these policies, whether it be Title 4D, whether it be school loans, you know, mortgages, all this usury is added to debt. And sometimes you're paying off, you're paying for so long, and you think that that you're in the clear, you're good to go, and you find out you've only been paying on the usury. You haven't even hit the principal yet. That is destroying people, and it's destroying people in a system that's completely and totally failing. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 1. Remember now thou Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. See, no one has pleasure. Everyone's complaining. There's thousands of videos of mostly pale people, Edomites, all right, and Jake as well, complaining about, wow, some just flashed on the screen about civil unrest, mass civil unrest, because it's coming. Okay. But, you know, it's a beautiful thing, though, to see the Edomites beginning to suffer and to get a taste of what it's like, that has been like for Jake all along. All right.